This is Scott Becker with a special episode of the Becker Business and Private Equity Podcast and the Becker's Healthcare Podcast. I'm thrilled today to visit with an amazing founder and leader, someone I have great regard for. We're joined today by Travis Guerra, and Travis is going to talk about the growth of his business ONWARD. In the staffing business, they largely work with private equity funds and sponsored companies that are hiring in healthcare and other industries. Travis, can you take a moment and tell us about sort of the growth of your business and how you got it started?
Yeah. It's good to be back. Only a couple of weeks ago, we were having a similar conversation, and so it's good to be in person with you. ONWARD was birthed out of the desire to really want to serve A-level clients with A-level players. So our typical client, we're looking at C-level to director level placements in sponsor-backed healthcare businesses, but also we serve, and a good indicator, I know that the job market has been a little bit challenging, but a good indicator is how many people are reaching out, via email or calling and saying, hey, we need more transaction guys. We need more investment banking leaders. And so just over the past 48 hours, I've got 4 different conversations going with investment banks and then transaction advisory firms that are looking to grow their teams for an increased deal flow that they're seeing in the back half of the year, but then also what they're expecting in 2026, wanting to get ahead of hiring.
The Fed, people have been watching the Fed forever. PE exits the last couple of years have been relatively slow, the actual exits, and you see that in the big publicly traded PE fund firms, but just also see it in the mid-size and smaller funds. But now with the expectation of finally starting to see the Fed lower rates, and I don't mean in a bad way, it's just been a long time that rates have been elevated. I think for good reasons. There's lots of inflation. I'm a huge fan of Chairman Powell. But there's tremendous excitement in the private equity industry about starting to see rates go down a little bit. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so we've seen it in the conversations here yesterday, and kind of jeers and laughs around, man, this has got to happen at some point. So the hope that, we see 50 bip reduction in the next couple of weeks, the next time the Fed meets, that's definitely a hope. And you are hearing that internally of, hey, Fed's got to lower the rates at some point, and we're really ready to grow or transact. And so it looks pretty good for some of the folks that we're working with, that there's excitement.
Now, Travis, I know the answer to this question, so I'm going to ask you it anyways. And you have to get the right answer.
Sure.
Now, you've got something very important happening over the next several weeks. Tell us what you're most excited about right now.
I am most excited about, and there only is one right answer here, birth of our second child, and we are waiting on gender. So I will either have a boy or a girl, and we're very excited about that. My wife is about 39 weeks pregnant right now.
How exciting is that? So I know you've got to get back to Nashville shortly.
Yeah.
Give us one more thing I'd love to ask you is, I am just a huge fan of what you're doing and what you've done.
Yeah.
One piece of advice that you would give to other founders, other people founding businesses, what do you tell somebody?
Making sure people know what you do and how you can help them, and stacking the value. Whether that's, from our angle, we're always looking for retained clients that are paying us on the front end to engage. But at the same time, stacking the value, identifying top of class candidates, chief development officers, CFOs, redacting that info, marketing those people, stacking the value. Hey, we provide a first screening interview for you to speak with these candidates for free, and developing those relationships where people know you're trying to help them more than anything. I was just having breakfast with an entrepreneur as well. And that was my advice. I'm like, hey, do as many free demos as you can. Get in front of as many people where you can show them a roadmap, and then still dangle a little carrot at the end that includes you getting paid for the services you provide, but stack the value as much as you can. Be kind, be thoughtful, think of others more than yourself.
And I'm going to ask you one more question, because it led me to another thought. So you do a ton of work. This is really what you do, is helping people hire great people.
Yep.
Any sort of overall advice on hiring that stands out at you in terms of trying to hire people?
Yeah, some of that's been influenced by stepping into the retained world. I've been in search for 7 years, but started ONWARD a little over a year and a half ago. And as I began to focus on really good retained search strategies, identifying the GH Smart hiring process, so top grading candidates, working a little bit more white glove with clients on truly identifying not what they call voodoo hiring methods. Oh, this person's really nice, or they carried on a conversation well, or they've got good vibes, right? That's how people hire in kind of the entry level to mid level range. When you're starting to think about executives, it is a hour and a half, line by line. What did you do in this role? What was a challenge? Who did you work for? What's their name? How would they rate you 1 to 10 when we call them to do a reference check? And that is role by role. And were you pushed out or were you pulled up into your next opportunity? And that helps define the quality of a candidate. And you sit down with an executive for an hour, hour and a half, and you go line by line on roles like that, and you get a really good sense for their career path, how they've gotten to where they are now, and if they'd be a good fit for your client.
That's fantastic. No, it's so thoughtful and so deep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Again, one of my favorite founders and leaders that I get a chance to visit with regularly is Travis Guerra of ONWARD. I'm just amazed at what you've done. I love how you handle yourself. Thank you so much for joining us today on this special combined episode of the Becker Private Equity Podcast and the Becker's Healthcare Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was special. It's good to see you.